Hello, I'm Matt Guff from thehouse.com, and this is a 2020 Ride Machete Wide and all mountain freestyle deck for high-level beginner riders to advanced level riders who like just kind of like cruise around the whole mountain, but want a kind of a freestyle influence with the riding and performance from their deck. The Machete, of course, has been in the ride line for a long time. There was another kind of like big brother to it called the Machete GT that they discontinued. And that's okay with me because now we have the Super Pig within the lineup. But this is a great, well-rounded deck for big-footed riders. It comes in 3 different sizes, and the waist widths of the boards start around 260 or 26 centimeters and go up to 26.4 centimeters, which is actually quite a bit. This is a fun-to-ride, easy deck that actually has loads of energy, despite it being not too stiff, which is pretty cool. It's a true twin board. The nose and tail are the exact same shape. You can ride it this way and this way. It's going to feel the exact same. It has a centered sidecut radius, or radiuses with a quadratic sidecut radius and a centered style stance. But the cool part about the board is that it's actually really well rounded. You can input a lot of energy into it and you'll get a lot back, but it's still really fluid. It has a twin hybrid rocker profile shape, which is pretty unique of a name for it having a more dominant style camber. Underneath and in between the feet, the board has a nice style camber arc. And what that does is provide a lot of stability while you're on an edge. Great amount of pop, of course, with all the additional laminates. And then does have a little bit of upturn on the nose and tail, touch of rocker, that makes the contact points just a little bit softer than what you mostly find in a full camber style deck. Now there is a twin style flex, which is great. The nose and tail will press and feel about the same, or will feel the same, depending if you're like ambidextrous in your riding, I guess. But it doesn't have too stiff a flex rating scale. It's about a 5, so you know, not too stiff, not too soft. But for decks that have this similar style flex and feel, it does have a lot of, it kind of has a lot of energy to it. And that's because of the wood core, the glass, and of course the laminates. There's a performance style core. It's a combination of both Polonia and Aspen. Polonia to keep it lightweight, Aspen to keep it strong. And then there's Biax fiberglass on the top and the bottom. You know, Biax glass is well known for being pliable and actually kind of torsionally soft. And the Machete Wide tends to be just a little bit softer in between the feet than what you'll find on the nose and the tail. Now the nose and tail have some additional laminates to it. The first one is the slime rods. Now Ride is kind of I think fizzling that out of the line. That may not be completely true, but it's kind of what I've seen. There's less and less boards featuring the slime rods. Slime rods are a urethane style strip with that sandwich in between 2 pieces of carbon. And what that does is give the board a good amount of energy on the nose and the tail, and that urethane actually helps to dampen the ride out a little bit. So the board's going to chatter a lot less than a board that you'll find with just straight carbon laminates. And then there's additional carbon array 3 to be exact. So there's 3 strands that start at each contact point and then radiate across the board through those insert packs. So without adding a lot of weight and making the board too stiff, it still provides a good amount of energy and kind of like pushback. To make the board strong, Ride has engineered these sidewalls called rolled in slime walls. It's kind of like a quarter style cap that gives it a little bit of extra strength without adding extra weight. And then that urethane style sidewall that runs basically the full contact length of the board flexes the same in cold temperatures as it does in warm temperatures, which is nice. You get a very consistent, smooth style ride. And again, with that urethane in the sidewall and in the slime rods, it's a very damp ride when you ride through some really variable style terrain. The base, which actually has a pretty cool dope graphic, is centered, and it has a well-rounded stone ground story with deep structure to it. It absorbs lots of wax. Make sure to keep it waxed up throughout the season, and with that deep structure, make sure to brush that thing out so you get all the excess wax out. There's a 360 wrap standard steel edge, but it's the cleaved edge, which means that it's actually about 50% more steel and quite a bit stronger, so it'd be less likely to crack if you're riding in the park and hitting a lot of jibs. And then there's that quadratic side cut radius. There's actually 3 different side cut radiuses that kind of rest on one. There's a smaller one in between the feet for those quick cross under turns, and then larger ones on the nose and the tail for those big sweeping cross over carves. Again, the Machete Wide is an easy to ride board that has a smooth flex but has a good amount of energy to it. This is a dope deck if you have big feet, you want a park board that still kind of goes everywhere on the mountain. This is the one. Make sure to check it out at thehouse.com by selecting the link below in the description. Leave a comment or a question. Let me know what you think of the deck, and hopefully see you guys on snow. Peace.